Thank you, Deputy Speaker. I congratulate the member for Fadden on his first speech and wish him well in this place. There's a great opportunity for all members in this place to support important legislation such as this higher education bill. This higher education bill will end the 50% pass rule that was introduced by the previous government as part of the Job Ready Graduates package. Rather than supporting students who are struggling with the demands of academic life and getting them ready for life after university, this rule was intended to dissuade struggling students from continuing their studies. The statistics speak for themselves. Since the 50% pass rule was implemented, more than 13,000 students at 27 universities have been affected. According to research from the Department of Education, many of these students come from a disadvantaged background. In the Albanese Labor government's vision of education, students who are struggling and or are from disadvantaged backgrounds should be supported to complete their studies rather than being penalised for struggling. Deputy Speaker, on the passing of this bill, universities will be required to demonstrate how they will identify students who are struggling and how they will connect those students with the support services to help them. Universities will be required to provide sufficient non-academic supports for students, such as financial assistance and mental health supports. This is also why we are implementing the third recommendation of the report. As recommended by Professor O'Kane and her team, this government must extend demand-driven funding currently provided to Indigenous students from regional and remote areas to cover all Indigenous students to close the education gap between Indigenous and non-Indigenous Australians. We cannot ignore the historical and systemic challenges that have perpetuated this gap, hindering the access and opportunities for Indigenous students to receive quality education. By taking action in line with the recommendation, we are demonstrating a commitment to rectify past injustices and build a foundation of empowerment for Indigenous Australians through education. This measure directly supports efforts towards achieving Closing the Gap Outcome 6 to increase the proportion of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people who have completed a tertiary qualification to 70% by 2031. Universities Australia, the peak body representing Australia's universities, has said the 50% fail rate measure was unnecessarily punitive on students and that universities have long called for uncapped places for all Indigenous students and the removal of barriers to university education for students from underrepresented backgrounds. This measure builds on our government's election commitment to deliver up to 20,000 Commonwealth-supported places and fee-free TAFE. Australian universities also contribute to economic activity and jobs in our country. Education added more than $29 billion to the economy in 2022. This is a tangible demonstration of the relationship between education and economic development. The importance of our universities transcends their immediate academic function. They are dynamic engines of progress, shaping the next generation of skilled professionals who will address the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead. In acknowledging the existing skills crisis in Australia, we must recognise that the solution lies within a robust and resilient education system. The demand for skilled professionals, whether they be nurses, doctors, engineers, scientists or other vital roles, cannot be met without a strong and capable education foundation. From the earliest stages of primary school to the halls of higher education, Australian students deserve nothing less than the best quality education that not only imparts knowledge but also cultivates critical thinking, creativity and adaptability. Our education system should be a nurturing ground for future leaders, innovators and problem solvers. This is something that we have focused on and will continue to strive to achieve. The Labor Party's dedication to education reflects our collective understanding that an empowered education population is the cornerstone of a resilient democracy. In our pursuit of progress, Deputy Speaker, let us also remember that education equips individuals with more than just knowledge. It empowers them to be compassionate, engaged citizens who contribute positively to societies. Education is a policy space where we have always demonstrated our dedication to creating fairer and more equitable societies where every individual can reach their full potential. It has been Labor that has led this country in advancing higher education, and it will no doubt be Labor that continues to lead this country in ensuring that our nation has a higher education system that encourages Australians, no matter their socio-economic status, to ensure that they can advance their education. Deputy Speaker, I'd like to recognise the hard work and dedication of our Minister for Education, the Honourable Jason Clare MP, for bringing this bill to the House. The Albanese Labor government understands that if you want to upskill, it's in the national interest for the government to do what it can to facilitate this. But, Deputy Speaker, this is just the beginning. As we look to the future, we must continue to work together, united in our purpose, to build a society where every Australian has a chance to unlock their potential and fulfil their aspirations. All members of this parliament should be able to recognise the important place of higher education and therefore the importance of this bill. I commend this nation-shaping legislation to the House.